I'm not seeing it yet, Wendy.
Yeah, it's still setting it up.
Okay.
Yeah. I have to turn on my Wi-Fi off at home for other devices as it goes super slow. I forgot to do that. All right, it should be up there, Angela. Do you see it?
I
Okay,
see it now.
awesome.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, cool. All right, and the recording is on and the live stream is on. So now it's just a matter of pulling up the agenda and sharing my screen. Gonna move this over there. We're gonna Oh, I don't know about you, but it's raining here. Yep. Yee. Okay. All right. Show share screen. Oh, you know what? This actually is not the right agenda. I stand corrected. This is. Oh no, that is the right one. Okay. Come on. All right. Perfect. Yeah, I'm just getting a couple things set up here, folks. Thank you. There we go. Okay. All right. Is Commissioner Thorwald on? Chairman Thorwald.
I'm not seeing him in the participants yet, Wendy.
Okay. Um, for the sake of just helping things out, do we have other commissioners? We have Commissioner Ballard, I see.
Wendy,
We, yes,
Wendy, this is Robin. I think we
yes.
might have some people queued up in the Google Meet.
Really? Okay, well, interesting. Let me see if I can go figure that out. Well, yes. Well, Matt's in there. Let me go tell all these folks in the wrong thing. Hello, everybody. Angela, can you pause the recording?
Um, actually,
Actually, I don't think I can get into the Google Meet and be in Zoom.
I'll hop out and go in there, Wendy.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Wendy, I'm in the Google call as well.
Oh,
We're
you can
hearing
hear
you in the
me?
Google call.
Oh, okay. Well, you need to go over to the Zoom link. All meetings are on Zoom. If you go down to the bottom in the Google Meets, you'll see the Zoom link.
Oh, I think Wrinkle with Google is waiting to join the room, but hasn't actually joined yet. So I don't know if they're hearing you when you.
Okay. Well, I'm admitting
Frank,
everybody right now.
Frank, are you stuck in the queue somewhere? She was saying that some people are stuck in Google meeting. I'm. Oh, okay. I was going to say there is a wraparound. You can just go to the website, but I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Now, this is Commissioner Ballard. I just talked to Chairman Thorwald. He, I think, was stuck in the queue too, but he thinks he's in now.
Yes. Angela just jumped over there and she is getting folks out. We've not had this problem before, but that's okay. We can absolutely adjust and change it for the future so that we do the Zoom. So no problem. There was only two people, so we should be good now.
Okay.
And my apologies, I had the Google Meet link in my calendar invite, so it took me,
Okay.
I had to make a phone call to figure out where it's supposed to be, so thanks for
Yeah.
your patience.
Yeah, no, you're not the only one, so you're good. Wonderful technology. Yeah, apparently the Google Meet is still active, even though it says at the bottom that we meet in Zoom. And so we'll just have to disable that moving forward. So now I think we're just waiting on Chairman Thorwald to jump over to this meeting, and then we'll be good to go. So you didn't miss anything, Shelley.
Oh, good. Well, if the chairman's on the other call, I feel a lot
Yeah.
better about being on the other call, so.
I'm gonna stop the recording because we don't need all this. So, okay. Just waiting for Commissioner Thorwald. And Angela, did everyone get out of the Google Meets?
I see that Chairman Thorwald did, so
Okay.
hopefully he's joining here in just a second.
Hey, Angela, Matt has a good idea. Can you go back into the Google Meet and pin the Zoom link in the chat in case the other people join in? Oh, there's Chairman Thorwald.
You're muted, Frank.
Yep.
Sorry,
Oops.
everyone, I was having trouble getting in.
That's okay. You're not the only one. We had a couple people who went to the Google Meet instead of the Zoom, which will be changed for future meetings and not an option. So not a problem. So
Well,
so Chairman Thorwald, I turned off the recording. So let me go ahead and get everything turned back on, and then we can get started. So just give me a second, please.
okay.
Yes, I haven't seen any sign of Dale. Otherwise, I believe we have a quorum.
All right, yeah, he did say he was able to attend. So I'll get things started, and then I will reach out to him. So let me just get the recording started, and then we can get going. So hold on one second, please. Okay, and the live stream is active.
Very good.
So let me just double check with all that back and forth that didn't accidentally get turned off. So
Okay.
hold on one quick second. Yep, it's still going.
Okay. it
Okay,
is.
so we are good with that. And let me pull up the agenda, sir. Share screens. All right. Okay.
Okay, this meeting of the Arizona Oil and Gas Conservation Meeting will come to order at 10:08 a.m. on September 26th, 2025. I'm way behind today. And we will see if we have a quorum. Commissioner Robin, are you here?
Here.
Commissioner Conway, are you here?
I am here.
Commissioner Ballard, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Nations, are you here? We'll come back to Commissioner Nations a little bit later. And this is Commissioner Thorwald, and I am here, and we have a quorum. Is there any conflicts of interest? Hearing none, we will move on to the first item on the agenda, and I'm going to take this out of order today and go to call to the public, since I suspect we'll be running a little right up to the wire today with these things. Is there anybody in the public that would like to address the commission?
Chairman Thorwald, this is Taylor Parmenter from the AG's office. Just letting you know, Attorney General's office represented Taylor Parmenter, joined by Shelley Cutts.
Okay, thank you. And I apologize. I should have asked if somebody was here from the AG's office. So, thank you.
Chairman Thorwald, your volume is a little low. Can you adjust anything on your end?
I will endeavor to speak up. How's that?
Okay, that'll work too. Thank you.
If I'm not speaking up, let me know. So, I take it there's nobody from the public that wishes to address the commission. So we will move on to item 2 on the agenda. The commission will review and propose edits to the AZOGCC regulations and the Arizona Administrative Code. Mr. Ballard, Commissioner Ballard, would you start off with what you've been working on, or would you?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Actually, I think I've had the privilege of starting this discussion twice, having the lowest number rule to address. So I think the commissioners actually have been exposed to these proposed changes before. I'll just quickly summarize the bonds. The amount of the bonds are being adjusted upward by a recommended amount or an amount we shall decide above the $10,000 bond that is current. And the other issue, fairly minor, is that in lieu of a performance bond, which we have normally taken, the revised rules from the IOGC suggest we open it up to a CD. Apparently that's fairly standard. If we've had time, if the staff has had time for any kind of input, that's good, bad, or whatever, we could come to a decision on that. But I open it up to any questions on the amounts. Should the amounts be higher or lower? That's probably the key issue for our 12.7.103. Give you a chance to read through them. $10,000 now. IOGC's recommendation was just go up to 15, which I talked about before as being the result of almost all states having a fund to actually pay for P&A wells. This is not really regarded as a amount to pay for the plug and abandonment of wells. And then that would be graduated. We drill a lot of shallow wells in Arizona, so the $25,000 bond would only go up to a depth of 2,500 feet, and then it will go up to 35,000 for up to 5,000 feet, which is just about the deepest well I've seen in almost 10 years. But it would be a higher category at 45,000 if someone wants to drill past 10,000 feet.
How does that, Commissioner Ballard, how does that compare to the other states?
It would put us at the high end. There's a few outliers that are very high. We're not be one of them, but almost all the states are down in the $10,000 to $15,000 range. And like I say, I know why it is. It's because they more or less let the same thing happen. A bond amount which was established years ago, they haven't bothered to change it. And like I say, in every case I've looked into, those states have a functioning fund to pay for emergency situations or for, of course, just the eventual plug and abandonment of wells. So we're kind of in between. I don't think $10,000 give us the amount of leverage we need compared to the historic amount that was determined back in the 60s. So we'll be certainly restoring a little bit of that. I don't think it drives us into an uncompetitive situation, but you have to take that into consideration. $25,000 is a lot more than $10,000. Some of these real shallow wells probably only cost a couple $100,000. So it is like a 10% kind of requirement.
Does this affect, do you believe this will affect any, how do you think the industry will agree with this?
Well, I think it will have a mildly discouraging effect. It does, it is $25,000 versus $10,000. That's not $15,000 more is not large in the real cost of the operations, but I think we also have to think a little bit beyond the box of just P&A costs. I know we're really preoccupied with P&A costs now. If it wasn't for the federal program, even though we have all these wells that needed to be P&A, they didn't really come up very often. And we're not equipped to come up with a fund or to come up with those kind of expenses. That needs to be fixed and probably addressed during the legislative portion of this program today. So it's my recommendation. I don't think it'll scare people away, but it will put us at the high average end to answer your question.
Well,
Chairman Thorwald,
yes,
Robin Thomas has her hand up.
Robin, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, just a question on the bond amount. How would you apply that? Would that only apply to new operators coming in, or how would that apply to existing bondholders? And I'm wondering if we need to clarify that in the rule.
Oh, well, I think the way the rule is stated, of course, bonding is necessary to obtain a permit for drilling the well. So that's the main purpose for it. The bond amount really shouldn't change during, for instance, an extension to a permit. I think unless we put in language that would cover some of those nuances, it'll never change from what the amount that the original bond is paid for. And I actually have a list of the amounts, Frank, if you want to hear some of the numbers. Let's see, Colorado's at $10,000. Louisiana's $2 per foot. Mississippi's $20,000. New Mexico's $25,000 plus $2 per foot. And then Oklahoma's $25,000. There's a few high ones. North Dakota's $50,000. I didn't even put down Alaska because they're up on the North Slope, and I think it's $400,000.
Now, but they all have funds, you said separately?
All the states I'm familiar with: New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, California. They all have other means of building up funds to be used for things like, an occasional plug and abandon that would come under routine times.
Commissioners, what are your thoughts on that? Please
Excuse me,
speak up.
Fire Robin. Okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay, actually, I have two things. Let me touch on the easy one quick. I need to go to another screen where I have that. But reading through there's a note on any interest accruing on a certificate of deposit shall be for the benefit of the permit holder. And I would question that if we're needing to use the bond for basically an abandoned drill hole, I would read that the permit holder gets the interest. And I would think in the case that they are non-performing, that interest should go to the state. And I might be reading it wrong, but I wanted to bring up that's the straightforward one. The actually more complicated comment I'd make, we kind of batted around this a little bit last time, but I want to come back to us kind of setting a fixed rate, that presumably would go on in the future. And then at some point in the future, you go, gee, inflation, that's way too low. I would, what I'd like to use as kind of a reference, for example, the IRS every year comes out with a new mileage rate. It's never lower, but they always come up with a new mileage rate. Now, once upon a time, when I first got on the commission, it kind of felt like we were kind of off in our own world. But now that we've got lots of contacts through IOGCC, and contacts with other states, I wonder if everybody could think about, for example, maybe one rep from a state, and we get a group, and that group meets like maybe August 15th. We kind of swap ideas. And then Arizona, like about September 15th, releases the rates for the next year in the same sense that the IRS releases new mileage rates, for the new year. And that way we can kind of stay current with cost and don't end up 5 years down the road kind of behind a bit. And that's all I'm trying to address right there.
IOGC does that already, and they every 5 years they put out a new analysis of the different costs. In fact, they cover all of the different areas, and there's committees within the IOGCC that addresses each type of those things. The last one is an older one. They're due to put out a new one here fairly soon.
Okay, so we could look at maybe every 5 years, just generally revisiting this, kind of follow their pattern.
Yes, and I'd like to make a note that Commissioner Nations is now with us as well. Let's thank you, Commissioner Feierabend. Let's go back and to make this simpler. Commissioner Ballard, is this piece legislation required or is it rules required? Change.
This is rules required. However, it's slightly different to put a number in the rules, which is of course approved through the governor's process. It's a little different to say to be determined by the commission. I mean, we can put that in and put it up the flagpole and see if that will pass, but it is, like I say, I think that's why some of these adjustments haven't been, aren't just left to be revised as needed or as we would desire. It gives us a lot of power.
Let's focus primarily on the to start with on the rules for each one of these, and then come back and do the legislative part first. And to make it simple, let's go back to each one of these because there's a number of changes, just like that were in the red that were proposed. So the financial part of that is just one of the items. So let's just take the financial part that we started with and see if we all agree on that, and then move to the next one and the next one until we get through all those changes. Instead of that, otherwise we'll be all over the place and get nothing done.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I agree. I think with further discussion as needed, we should more or less vote on accepting this as is or with changes that we want to make, and then move to the next rule.
And we can take it like section 1, then section 2, the changes in each of the sections to see if we agree with that. I think that'll be the simplest way to actually get through each one. Commissioners, do you agree with that?
I'm fine. Feierabend.
This is Mike Conway. Yeah, I certainly think so.
Well, to move to did we hear from everybody? How about Dale?
Well, then let's just go with the first change that we have in there. At the very top of this, it says, instead of bond, it says financial assurance. Simple, something simple. Are we good with that change?
Well, I will put out that of course, it's only there because of the CD discussion. Otherwise, the term bonding is fine. And actually, it's not just that first change, but 4 paragraphs were more or less added really to deal with the complications of getting a CD, who gets the interest, who doesn't get the interest. So I guess instead of just approving word change, it's all in the CD bucket. Did anybody look it up? Do we accept CDs for bonds at the Department of Environmental Quality? Is that something that's common? Because if we don't have any input pro or against the topic of CDs, then almost all these changes go away except for the bond amounts.
I don't know that matters at all, and that these things change on a regular basis. If we accept them and the department accepts them, it's fine. If we don't, then the department does. If they're in our rule, it's fine, whether they do or don't. I'm just trying to move forward here. Let me put it this way. Has everybody read the changes that are in red here. And does anybody have any comments about them, including the financial sections?
This is Commissioner Conway. I don't have any, I've seen this. I don't have any problems with any of this. It looks very good.
Okay, Commissioner Ballard, how about you?
Well, I'm the one that altered the numbers, so I like the numbers
I
and
know, but also the rest of it that's
and,
there.
and the
Is
rest
that-
of it. Yes, I support it as it is.
Commissioner Firerobbin, how about you?
Yeah, my only comment, and again, I might be reading it wrong, was that comment on the interest going to the permit holder. That was the only thing that really caught my eye on that, and aside from that, I have no problem. And if I'm reading it wrong, I have no problem as is.
Commissioners, what do you feel about what Commissioner Firerobbin has brought up? Is
This,
that something we should change?
Commissioner, this is Commissioner Nations. I'm on now.
Thank you, Commissioner.
The yard work was finished, so now I can be unmuted.
Okay. Commissioner Nations, what are your thoughts, while we're there, what are your thoughts about these proposed changes that are on the screen now? Do you have any comments about it? And what Commissioner Firerobbin brought up about the interest going to the bondholder and having that go to the state if they are not in compliance?
This is Commissioner Nations. So yeah, I'm fine with it the way it is.
Commissioner Conway, you're fine with this as well?
I am, but I do think that Commissioner Firebrand has a very good point. If the driller's not living up to their responsibility, it seems silly to provide them with those funds.
Commissioner Ballard, what's your thoughts on that one?
Well, I would say that we could approve the proposed changes with the exception of the item of the interest rates, and that needs to be looked into a little bit more, and we can inform the commission how it worked out, because it's really kind of an accounting thing. There may be difficulties or restrictions that I don't really appreciate on why it was written this way. I certainly don't think some of the bonds will be held for a long period of time. So I do think it might be a significant amount of money, and you're right. I don't see why it should be to the benefit of the bondholder, except that kind of indirectly changes the amount of the bond. So except for unforeseen legal restrictions, I think we should go with that as edited according to Commissioner Firebrand's suggestion.
I would agree with that as well. Only with this stipulation that if they're not in compliance only. Now that could add to some accounting issues as far as how long they're not in compliance, that type of thing, and how we inform it. So it could get complicated from that.
Yeah, you have to remember most bonds are returned. It's normally a routine thing that they get their bond after a while back. So we have to stipulate the case that if they're just routinely getting it back, do they deserve the interest, or do we take that in any case?
Firerobbin, again, my point is only on non-performing people, not, in the regular course of things people put in a bond, do their work, and receive the bond monies back. I have no problem with that if they perform. I'm just reading it, if they do not perform, that's my only point.
Well, there might be.
Go ahead.
Please.
This is what I believe AG Shelley had her hand up. I just want to make sure if she had a comment.
Please go ahead.
Right. I do, but it's not germane to this particular topic, and I don't want to interrupt the flow of discussion. So
okay, thank you. Just want to make sure.
So,
well, that's almost a little bit easier to address because if it's just an exception, we can almost just add at appropriate part where you decide where the interest, where it states where the interest goes, that a caveat that if the account is in default and being seized, that the interest will also be seized.
I think that would be an appropriate caveat. We can just put in there. Is everybody else okay with that?
This is
Fire
Mike
Robin,
Conway.
I
I
am.
am. Me too.
Is everybody appropriate, okay with the rest of the, other changes that are in there?
This is Commissioner Conway. I am. I'm okay with all of this.
Fire Robin, I am.
Commissioner Nations, it's okay with me.
And of course, it's okay with me.
Let me, jump away from the commissioners for a moment and get some input, from, the Department of Land. David, what's your thoughts on this?
I think it's good with the interest. I just worry about if the company goes bankrupt and we have to abandon the wells. Do we keep that interest?
Well, if the wells get abandoned, they're not in compliance, so I think it's appropriate. So, shall we vote on this to approve this as amended? Do I have a motion?
This is Commissioner Conway. So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstentions? Okay, this motion carries. Let's move on to the next
Chairman
item.
Thorwald,
Yes.
Chairman Thorwald, this is Whit Flood. I did not fully get what the exemption is.
The exemption is that, or the exception, the change.
Exception, yeah.
The modification is if the company is not in compliance, then the interest comes to the state versus going to the company.
To the commission?
We had stated, how did we state that? Was that commission or the state?
There's a difference.
I know.
The state was mentioned, but I guess it's something that's not even really happened in my experience. Where does the bond money go? It'll go the same place the bond money goes that we seize as a result of default and an action of the commission. I think money goes to a couple of funds that are not ours, but I don't think we really should get into that now.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure I had it for the record. I'll just...
Okay, let's go on to the next
Thank
item
you.
on the agenda then. What is, I mean, not the next item on the agenda, but the next rule to change.
Well, in numerical order, I believe it's 107 spacing. See if that is the next item on the document list for the commissioners to have on the screen. If we just scroll forward from where we were.
Yeah, this is when India moved it down to 107. Do you want to see where the comments on this one are in yellow?
Yeah.
Wendy, would you be able to reshare your screen so that?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank
shows
you.
up? Yeah, it just sort of disappeared and
Yeah.
the folks on the call may want to
Yes.
see it on the screen.
I turned it off for the discussion. Thank you very much. There we go.
Well, this is one also that I last year put these modifications to the IOGC recommendations, and I actually have one additional recommendation to make in addition to the ones that are shown. Basically, I started out with fairly minor issues. There's they added some definitions. The comments in yellow. Under this rule, the commission has broad authority to assign spacing units for different reservoirs. The original idea is really for producing reservoirs to, maximize production and minimize waste. But one thing it doesn't really refer to is that what we have done over the last few years is a few reservoirs within certain areas within the Holbrook Basin. We have actually kind of assigned a spacing amount to. Mainly the Coconino 640 and the Shinnerup's 40 acres, and there's a couple other cases. And so I just want to make it a little bit more specific that if they're in one of those areas, they don't have to ask for a spacing exception. They just need to follow that precedent. Just a short statement that mentions something that we do also. The other thing that I talk about is, of course, the IOGC did not suggest that we break away from the old tradition of saying we have two kinds of wells, we have oil wells and gas wells. The oil wells will be at 80-acre spacing. I haven't really seen a legitimate oil well being drilled in Arizona since the last 10 years. But so they're all gas wells. And it says that the initial spacing is going to be 640 acres. Well, there's only one reservoir in, for instance, the Holbrook Basin, the only productive basin except for Navajo lands. And it's, 640 acres, the Coconino. Nothing else that really has progressed through regulatory has been given that. So it's probably larger than necessary. Now, of course, within the rules now, we have the right, any drilling permit that comes in, to change it. Make it 160 acres, make it 40 acres, make it whatever. And unfortunately, I think our default has been to 40 acres because that's the other one that's kind of mentioned in these rules. So I would add a small little paragraph like the one in yellow that would state that if in the Holbrook Basin, if the objective is not the Coconino, and in large areas it's at the surface, it's not even a possible objective, that we default to 160 acre spacing. This will give them leeway room if they want to move their location to some favorite spot. It will also, at 660 acres offset, and I have the standard specifications for 160 acre spacing for you. It'll also increase from minimum of 330 to 660 to for outside acreage, such as issues we have had recently with offset operators or offset lease and landowners who really don't want an oil and gas operation as close as 330. So it alleviates some potential situations that maybe would make it easier if they see it's written that they can default to 160 acres for gas in the Holbrook Basin. It would be a very short little paragraph, and we wouldn't really be changing the overwhelming classification of oil wells versus gas wells. This is just be kind of an exception. It's kind of based on precedent, and it's in a restricted area. So those are the two things that I kind of changed. The other things that's discussed in a lot of detail are spacing exceptions. So the things that go along with spacing exceptions that have been confusing in the past are kind of small issues. One of them is notifications. The language in the rules now states that you will not notify, I think, any offset operators or landholders to your lease. Well, some leases they're thinking of the drilling unit, I think, when they wrote it, but they said lease. Leases are sometimes multi-sectional, and you lease from some rancher and on alternate sections. And so a lease can be 4 not physically connected sections. And for one well in one of those sections, you're saying notifications have to be based on this entire large landholding. They make a caveat themselves later on and refer to notifications within 1 mile of the well location. And this, I think, it's much more reasonable and straightforward and should just be used in both places, both in the determination of who needs to be notified. And then there's a lot in yellow here that I actually don't think should be changed. The IOGC put in this large procedure, I'm not sure what state it's from, that would actually have someone who wants to make a change of location, change of spacing unit, and having to notify others, comes up with a list, perhaps a long list of those who need to be notified, and that they would hand that to us with $2, $5 or something, some small fee per notifier, and that we would be the ones to handle the sending out of postcards or letters or something, and keeping tally of who has replied and whether they want to go to hearing and object or they don't object. I don't see the need for this. I don't think it's something the commission has the staff to take on. I'm completely comfortable leaving that part of the regulations as they are, that it's the obligation of the operator to send out notifications. They will be, who they notify will be determined by a change by the 1 mile radius from the well. And that the commission will be more or less receptive to their just proving to us that those notifications have been made, so we can proceed with any change that's actually going to be made. Okay, got a lot of minor issues with it.
Commissioner Ballard, just FYI, this wasn't drawn from a single state. What the IOGCC did, they drew it from multiple states that were having similar production to types of production to Arizona. So it was a multi-state pull.
Yeah, I stand corrected. I don't know exactly. I assume that since they recommended it, that it's at least one state that does it, and it could be several. It seems unnecessary to me.
Commissioners, what are your thoughts on this?
This is Commissioner Conway. I think I agree with Jim. It does seem like the changes he's made are reasonable and make good sense to me.
Commissioner Nations, your thoughts? Commissioner Fire Robin?
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Ballard on his comments. I have one small point I'd like to bring up kind of in this spacing. And I apologize, I got to go to another screen where I got my notes, but I think under 3.0 there was spacing, and there's a paragraph that says the commission can approve a change without a public meeting, something like that. I think that something like this had come up in the past, and I wonder if it would be better to put in exactly how the commission approves it. Are we going to assign a person to say that's okay, or just have a little process like, the administrator plus will contact commissioners that are available on short-term notice and give approval, just kind of, instead of just say the commission will give approval, put just a little thing in there on how we will give approval, so it's real clear how we want that handled.
Yeah, we're not seeing it on the screen right now. I can't remember whether it's higher and lower. I believe the paragraph you're referring to is the one where they're talking about a change in location, a spacing exception to accommodate physical topography. And
yeah, exactly.
The rules do say that that's a semi-automatic approval, which could be abused. I can vaguely remember it coming up at least one time as well. And so the commission did hear about it. Let's see if we can find it.
Commissioner Ballard, this is Whitney Flood. If you tell me, or Commissioner Fire Robin, if you let me know which number it is, I can scroll to it.
Yeah, okay, let me go up a little bit. Now, first, it's going to be under, where are we here? Okay, it's going to be under R12-7-103, financial assurance. Scroll down, and I go through three. On my computer, it's the fourth sheet down. It's 3.0. The commission may grant an exception location without notice or hearing when topography prohibits blah, blah. Commissioner Ballard is correct. My only point is if we should put something in there that says how we will grant it, then just say we will or can do it. That's my only point.
103. Okay, I don't. seem to have that. So, okay.
3.0. Yeah, oh, I don't have, the one I'm looking at does not have all the red.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have that. So, okay.
Okay.
Well, you do, because in this compilation, there's actually 3 versions of the rule.
Okay.
The unadulterated today, a final draft proposal to the commission, and then just for reference, there's the where the red came from, the IOGC version, just precisely as they gave it to us. So it's still in all 3 somewhere.
Okay.
Wendy, go
In
down
the
one more
meantime,
page.
Go down maybe
go
F.
down. Okay. In the meantime, AG, the AG had their hand up.
I saw that. AAG,
Wendy, it's right
Curtis.
there. You just went past it. It's number 3.
Okay,
Sorry.
great. Thank you.
A little farther. There.
There you go. Thank you.
Yep, there it is.
One moment while AAG Curtis, she had her hand up.
Yeah, this is Shelley. You know, I'm looking at number 3, and this may be something that Taylor and I may need to take a look into for the commission. Typically, under the open meeting law, the method for a public body to take legal action, you know, to approve or deny something would be at a public meeting, at a noticed public meeting. So I'm not sure how this item 3 has been implemented in the past, but this may be something that we might want to discuss in a future executive session or at another meeting.
Well, I think that's a good point. The only time I think Commissioner Fryerobin is recalling, it came up at a meeting, so we were in a public meeting, but this doesn't say that we have to be. So yeah, I agree. It might just be something that should be changed.
Yeah, all rules of any public body, right? Any state agency or any commission, any administrative rule has to be consistent with statute. Where a rule is not consistent with statute, the statute's going to trump that rule and govern over that rule. It's just a matter of sort of the order of operation of laws. If the commission's practice has been to have these approvals at a meeting, I would recommend that process continue, because I think that is probably the safest way to take action consistent with the open meeting law. But again, we can discuss this later on if needed.
Well, I guess I would suggest we accept a simple correction and just eliminate without notice or hearing. And the implication being it's something we can do, and it would be something we would do at a meeting, public meeting.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. And if it needs to be a special meeting, you know, if something needs to be done sooner than your next regular meeting, you would always have the opportunity to call a special meeting for that one particular agenda item. So thank you for letting me comment on that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, I like that exception. I like the change that just made. Does anybody else have any thoughts on this particular section? What we need to do? Where are we here?
So this is what fled. So for item 3 that's on the screen right now, the commission may grant an exception location and just take out the words without notice or hearing.
Yes. Does everybody agree with that?
Fryerobin agree.
This is Commissioner Conway. I agree as well.
Commissioner Nations, I agree.
I suspect I should have put that into a vote. So I move that we accept that change. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Does everybody agree on that? Say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Okay. Let's go back to where we were before that started.
I can state once again that, you know, the other changes are really in regards to the, you know, the 160 acres, the notification for using a mile instead of a lease, and not following the IOG3 recommendation that the commission take charge of the notification process, that we leave it more or less the way it is.
Commissioners, what are your thoughts on that? Commissioner Conway, what do you think?
I think it's a fine idea. I think it'll work.
Commissioner Firerobbin,
I agree.
Commissioner Nations,
I agree.
and I also agree, Chairman Thorwald. So let us go ahead and vote on that. Do we have a motion to approve these changes as amended?
So moved. This is Commissioner Conway.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion carries. Let's move on to the next item.
Chairman Thorwald, that the AG has their hand raised.
Yes, go ahead,
Taylor Parmenter.
AAG Parmenter.
For clarification, since we noticed that there are 3 different versions of these.
I can't hear you.
Oh,
I can't hear you.
Yeah, Taylor, you are very soft.
can you hear me better now?
No?
You kind of sound like you're talking through a tin can or something that's very muting. It sounds very muted.
Give me a moment to find some headphones. I'll see if the microphone works better there.
Okay.
Technology strikes again.
Yeah.
While we're waiting, I want to thank everybody for making the time to do this. This is something we've needed to do for a long time. We may have to have another meeting or two like this to get through it all, but it'd be nice to have all these changes moved forward.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Yes, much better.
Okay. Sorry about that. For clarification, since we noticed that there are 3 different versions of these rules that we're looking at, is the motion to approve the language of the section labeled draft with those changes?
I would actually have to check how they're labeled. There's 3 versions in each section. The first one is as is. The second one is called a little higher. Those are the recommendations from SOGRE or the IOGCC, and in between, the next one up, I guess. Yes, that's called draft. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
I
you,
just
Taylor.
wanted to
Appreciate that.
make sure for the record for what the motion approving was.
So it's the draft one. Thank you.
And by the way, for everybody's understanding how that came about, previously we had worked on these, not the commissioners, but our previous administrator and some time back. And that's how we derived at some of these drafts. So we're giving us the 3rd version. So the first one is simply what we already had. The second one was the IOGCC. And then the 3rd one came about that way.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Commissioner Ballard, moving on to the next item. What do you have next?
Well, fortunately for me, in my voice, yeah, I didn't take the primary responsibility for the next one. It's involving surface casing. We're talking 110.
Okay, who is on that one?
I believe that this is Wendy Flood. I believe that was Firewoman and Nations or Conway.
Correct.
What's
Okay,
that?
Firewoman.
That's
Okay.
correct. This
Okay,
is
Firewoman. Okay, perfect.
Commissioner Nations or Commissioner Firerobbin, do you want to take your choice, whoever wants to? speak up on that.
Commissioner Nations, go ahead. You
No,
got it.
I think that you and I have satisfied our evaluation of it. I'd like to see it submitted as corrected as we did it.
I did, Fire Robin, I did have a couple notes there. Commissioner Nations, I have a note here that surface casing should go down to 250 feet. Did we touch on that?
I thought that was tied also to the formations.
Okay, yeah. Then there was a comment about defining fresh water better. And there are a couple of things a person could refer to. You know, there's definitions in the USGS. There are different environmental organizations, and they kind of range from 1,000 ppm chloride, 500 ppm chloride, and then 100 ppm chloride. I don't know if we really need to get into that, define it that way. Any comments? Commissioner Ballard, you're familiar with dealing with this?
Well, this is Commissioner Ballard. I think we have had a couple of conversations on some of these points, although I know you and Commissioner Nations came up with these good modifications. I think I completely agree. 250 should be the minimum surface casing requirement. It's not written down, and I think we've been using it for years. So that I completely agree with. It's still going to be sticky because, of course, if useful water or fresh water or some definition of water zones are found deeper, then you can do a couple things about it. You have to include that in your well plan. In each and every case, extending the surface casing down is not necessarily the solution. Sometimes if it's really deep, that would not be as practical as of course, having a second string of casing enclosed that deeper water. So it's really hard under Arizona statutes in particular to define useful water. Some regulations more or less refer to any water as being potentially useful, and 100 years from now we may all agree. So somehow I think we need to shy away from that. I think we need to set it at 250, and somehow I don't think we should try to impose a cutoff where there's water that too salty or too deep that we have to quote unquote think about, but we have to phrase it so that needs to be included in your drilling plan and not necessarily solved by just extending surface casing. Surface casing can be extended if there's a good water zone at 300 feet, then that would be the logical thing to do. If there's a prolific water zone at 1,000 feet, then that's not really the thing to do. So yeah, we need to watch how we change the verbiage, but it needs to accommodate the minimum 250 feet.
Mr. Conway, what do you think of that?
Oh, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Okay. Commissioner Nations, you are fine with that as well?
Yes. It's Commissioner Nations.
Do we have a motion to approve that, or do we have any further discussion, changes?
This is Woody Flood, Chairman Thorwald. So is this under section 110? Would it be A, B, C, or D, where we're going to add the 250 minimum?
Where would that be, Mr. Fire Robin?
And I can work with you, Commissioner Fire Robin, if we want to find the right spot. I just thought if we knew kind of where we wanted it, we could note it for the motion.
I think I think you're right. I think it would be under section A.
Section A. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve this?
This is Commissioner Conway, so moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, and I say aye as well. All opposed? Say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Let us move on to the next one on the agenda.
Did we want to go to 111?
Yes.
Okay.
One moment before we move to the next ones. Which ones have we completed now?
So from what I've been sharing on the screen, from what I recall, this is Windy Flood. We just did 110 surface casing requirements. We had done this one up here that had the 3 different options was 107 spacing. And then we did, I believe it was 103 that dealt with the bond financial assurance.
That's correct.
And those are the only ones we've gone over. And then Taylor, AG's office has her hand up as well. Okay. Yep.
Hello,
Okay.
Taylor Parmenter with the AG's office. While we're recapping, I also wanted to clarify for the first regulation we went over, there were also the 3 versions. So the motion was for the section labeled draft on that one as well, correct?
Let me get to it.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and what is our next one that we're on now?
111, and I'll get to it in just a minute.
Or is it 110?
Hopefully no one's too dizzy with the speediness. Sorry about that. 107. Okay, here we go. Intermediate and promotional casting and tubing requirements.
Which one was it we just did? I'm sorry.
We just did 110 surface casing requirements, and now we're doing 111 intermediate and production casing and tubing requirements.
Okay, good. Sorry. As you were speaking, I had a message come in and it clicked and I couldn't hear you. Apologies.
That's okay, no problem.
Okay, we're on 111. Who is handling 111?
Same people.
It's Nations and Firebar.
Okay, what are your suggestions on this?
This is Commissioner Nations. Those are notations in pink. Those are the ones that we've recommended, and they're pretty obvious typographical things.
Well, I have one question, Commissioner Nations. I seem to remember that IOGCC or SOGRE made a lot of miscellaneous sounding engineering specification suggestions, that would differ from the language of the statute 111. They were for specific grades of casing and pressure testing at 80%, or there were some changes like that. Did you read through those and approve of those? Should they be included as well as these comments that you've made here? Am I locked out?
No,
you're-
we can hear you.
We're just waiting for their thoughts.
Yeah, I could,
Commissioner Nations, Commissioner Farrell.
This is Commissioner Nations. I'm satisfied with the way that we submitted it.
Commissioner Conway, your thoughts on it?
I'm fine with it as is.
Commissioner Ballard?
well, I'm trying to call it up on my computer, so that we could do it quickly. They were just, well, like I say, they were the recommendations that the IOGCC made, and they were technical. So I don't have a vivid memory of what percentages and names of casing that they were providing, but there were a few that were made. And I think they should be considered since we went through the process of getting that input. They're, like I say, they're not really substantive from a regulatory point of view of allowing wells to be drilled. It's a specification that has to be included and followed, but isn't that something? It's not something the commission would probably review in detail. It would be for the oil and gas administrator to check off the box that they had followed these engineering specifications.
Still need to define those.
Yeah, like I say, I can probably bring them up in a minute.
No, we'll give you a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. It's
All right.
and this is 111. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, it's actually they or I have made a note to eliminate the reference to cable tools. And then they have a 1, 2, 3, they have about 4 paragraphs actually up A through item I, talking about specifications of materials and ASTM codes and their testing requirements. So there's really 2 changes. There's the elimination of cable tools, the specification of piping according to some national references. I don't know, how should we proceed? I could email this to you, or can you share my screen?
Do you want to see if you can share screens? I think it'll ask me to allow you, and then of course I will. Or I can make you co-host. Let me know if you have any issues.
Share, I guess.
Yep, try share.
Sharing is not turned on. I'll send
Okay.
it first.
Oh, here we go. I'm going to allow you right now.
Okay.
Give it a second. Okay, so now try it.
Okay, let's see, entire screen, that's okay. Share.
There you go.
Okay, so can people see this Word file?
There it is.
It's very prominent. So this is as was edited with you know those changes that we already saw, word changes. And then, like I say, we have the reference to cable tools and wells drilled with cable tools. And these are the IOGC subgroup changes. There's a lot of red, and when you read them, it's all about API specification 10A, you know, standard casing and testing procedures. So there's a lot, but I mean they're not actually not something even within my expertise to really discuss the details of casing strength and testing.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Nations. I think, Commissioner Fireweller and I agreed that some of this was beyond our expertise. We're not engineers, and it would be hard to evaluate this kind of specifications. So that was our comment on that. So in other words, it should be approved as it is.
Commissioners, how since we don't have those internal expertise, but these are the recommendations of the Interstate Oil and Gas Compact engineers from the other states, how do you want to proceed? Do we want to have a third party look at this, or do we want to just accept what the Interstate Oil and Gas Compact has stated that it should be from the other states?
This is Wendy, because you can always come back and have another meeting specifically on this topic after getting further, you know, review as well. Just keep that in mind.
Commissioners, what do you want to do?
Well, this is Commissioner Allard. I'm inclined, of course, to the only substantive change from this version would be, or changes would be the word changes identified by the team. And I would like the commission to consider my suggestion of eliminating the references to cable tools, which would really make them not available as a drilling technique. There's lots of arguments there. It's very obsolete. So that I would go with that. As we said, we might want to flag some further review, especially if we could round up an engineer.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Nations. I thought we agreed that there was no need to refer to cable tools. Maybe it was not documented in here. But that was an obvious thing that should have been changed.
You're very outdated.
It's the section down here that isn't off my screen, and it just, yeah, we can just eliminate that section A.
Commissioner Conway, what are your thoughts?
Hey, Frank, I don't have anything. This is Conway. I don't have anything to add to the discussion so far. I'm not on top of this.
Do you think we should accept what the IOGCC has sent us, or try to find an engineer that can give us other advice?
Yeah, I would imagine that would be the prudent thing to do.
Commissioner Fire-Robin, your thoughts?
Yeah, again, you know, this is far beyond my area of experience, but I think the logic we've been using is reasonable, so I'm good to go with that.
Okay. Commissioner Ballard, your thoughts?
I'm willing to go with the IOGC recommendations. There will be time to seek some additional advice if necessary. I can undertake to come up with a draft that reflects the IOGCC recommendations, the edits that were recommended by the team, and I would like with approval to eliminate the reference to cable tools.
Commissioner Nations?
I agree with that. I make a motion to that effect and would second it. I mean, make a motion to that effect.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion carries.
So this is what, but Flood, to be clear on the motion, is Mr. Commissioner Ballard has been given the approval to redraft section 111 with the previous comments submitted by the other two commissioners, removing cable tools and addressing the IOGCC comments
Correct.
for submittal at another meeting, or what he's going to be doing is complete.
No, he will do it and we'll do it at another meeting.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you. Who is doing
The next one is 112.
that's what I was gonna ask. On the cemented, effective casing and cementing.
So yeah, once again, I've just brought up what the IOGCC recommendations is. The main point is that it emphasizes the use of cement bond logs if there is a problem. Usually what happens is you start losing more fluid than you can handle, and you have to kind of assess where you are. But I assume that there's a section under the versions that we were looking at before, which also captured any of Commissioner Nations and Commissioner Firebrand's word changes or effective changes. Do I have to unshare
Yes,
for now?
unshare, please.
Bring it back at a later time.
Yeah, and you are correct. This is Whitney Flood. Their comments on this section were more editorial, but I will bring it up. And that's it.
Maybe there's some on the previous page.
For 112, this is it.
Oh,
This is all I
Oh.
received.
okay. Oh, it was short. I just didn't remember it was that short. Yeah, those are just editorial changes. So once again, you want to have a look at if we want to take a look at the IOGC changes, they just expanded. They made it a little longer and added the emphasis on the cement bond logs.
Commissioners, do you want to, is this any discussion on this item, or do we want to accept this? Or reject it?
I'm trying to find it. Oh, that's 111 casing.
And Mr. Haig, in case I don't call on you and you feel like you need to make a comment, please jump in.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Commissioners, on this, shall we accept? What do we want to do here?
So this is the revised language from the IOGCs.
Could you make that a little bit bigger?
Yes.
I'm personally fine with that.
This is Commissioner Nations. I move that we accept this to we recommend this to the IOGCC.
Do we have a second?
This is Commissioner Conway. I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion carries. Let us move on to the next one. What do we have next? Is it 121 or 117?
I believe, well, numerically, artificial stimulation would be next. That's
Okay.
117. But I don't, I have the old IOGCC document. I didn't personally work on that one this time around.
Okay. Artificial stimulation. As I recall, we had nothing or very little on that to start with. And we had asked the IOGCC to look at the other states and to tell us what they were doing and give us their recommendations on how to create a section on that that was specifically applicable to our situations in Arizona. And that's where this document came from. What does everybody think of it?
Well, I must admit, this goes back to last year's work, Mr. Chairman, but there were a few changes from the IOGCC that I remember identifying at the time. Some of them were just editorial, and then there was the issue to kind of be resolved really was how this interfaces with other state regulatory requirements. I guess we don't have to address that, but the thought was that we should, in case someone's reading these rules and unaware of it, that other regulatory processes might be necessary to go through. Basically, aquifer protection permit, or at least being relieved or being told that they did not have to, acquire an aquifer protection permit. I think that process has to be gone through. So it would just be include a reference to that process.
I'm not sure that I agree on that. I normally would say yes, that I agree with that process. However, given that some of that may change in the not too distant future, and that kind of thing is always changing, maybe a more general term would be to say that there may be other applicable rules that need to be followed, or something like that, or statutes, making it a little more broad, indicating that they have to look elsewhere.
Yeah, and actually, just the discussion of the rule changes brings back another memory. They made some definitions as part of their changes, and for convenience, later on in the discussion, they kind of redefined artificial stimulation in a way which isn't really consistent with industry usage. I'm not sure why they went down that path, but it simplifies later on when you want to just talk about hydraulic fracturing, and you don't want to talk about acid treatments, but collectively those are industry, or they're called artificial stimulation. So it was almost a word change. You couldn't get away with it quite the way they did it, but you just have to say early on that artificial stimulation includes acid treatments, which this section does not address, and hydraulic fracturing, which is the subject of these rules.
That brings up a key point, and I may have missed it in here, but Marta, when she was with us, I had her put together a new set of definitions for all of this, including the artificial stimulation, because we were using a whole variety of them and they didn't necessarily make sense. So she went out to all of the major associations and with the IOGC and pulled that list together. I somehow have a feeling we missed that in what went out. Because we have that already defined.
Yeah, I might have a copy of
Commissioners, this is
that.
Wendy Flood. I did not get anything on this topic for this meeting. So if there is something, Mr. Ballard, if you want to share it, but I don't have anything.
I think I have it, and I will pull it up and send it to you, and we can use it for the future
Okay.
meeting that we'll have on these. But I think that is all defined in that as well, and she took into consideration the 117 changes when we did this, when she did it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I almost think with this one, we should leave it for a redraft. Let's get those definitions changed and review the document one more time for any reference to other regulations or any changes in language based on different definitions, because just putting in the new definition won't be enough. Of course, it needs to be followed through with as it's referred to in the text.
Let me add a note to this. When IOGC reviewed all of this, they were given all of our rules, all of our statutes for review and comparison. They were not given DEQ's rules. But they were given all of our statutes and all of our existing rules, and they did compare all of those.
Well, I'm not saying it for sure needs to be in there, but there are some things that definitely need to be altered from the version that we have in front of us. You could assign someone else, or I'm willing to take a pass at a second draft that we would approve in a further meeting, later meeting.
Commissioners, is that all right with you?
Excuse me. Fire Robin, yeah, I agree. Let Commissioner Ballard have a go at it.
This is Mike Conway. I agree as well.
Okay. Shall we put that in the form of a motion? And Mike, do you want to help Commissioner Ballard on these things?
Of course, I hope.
I didn't hear him respond rapidly.
Hey, you'll learn some stuff about fracking.
Well, it looks like it's all yours, Commissioner Ballard. Anybody make a motion that we allow?
I'm sorry, Frank. I weighed in, but I guess I hadn't cleared the audio. I certainly will help Jim if I can.
Okay, thank you. So do we have a motion to allow Commissioner Conway and Commissioner Ballard to work on this and come back for our next meeting?
Commissioner
Our
Nixon,
next meeting on this.
I move that we approve that.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any abstentions? None. Any nays? Hearing none, the motion carries.
This is Wendy Flood, just to confirm for section 117, Ballard, Commissioners Ballard and Commissioners Conway will work on resubmitting the edits and comments with the IOG recommendations for a different meeting for further discussion. Is that correct?
Yes, and
Okay.
Tying that into also the
Definitions.
definitions.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. I had that in there too as well. Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure I had the motion correct. Thank you.
Okay. 121, or is there one in between here I've missed?
I believe 121 is next.
Yes, that is what I have as next.
Okay, who is handling 121? Well,
I believe it was Mike and I. So once again, we have the same treatment. We have a draft. We have the as is above and the unaltered draft below IOGC version. But the main interest items of discussion here are confidentiality. They add some very useful detail about procedures that are useful embellishments on what we had in there before about how various forms and things like that need to be filed. And then this is an issue which it's come up before. It's the in unproven territory, quote unquote, rule. And that's just not really worked that well. And what we really want to do is avoid the necessity of classification of a well as being confidential material or not confidential material. And the primary recommendation, which would be away from the IOGC issues, would be in addition to the IOGC comments, would be to just make that automatically a year. And unless they go to the trouble to inform us that they don't want it held confidential, it would just automatically make a 1 year confidentiality period for new wells. And then they, as they are now, they are allowed a 2 year extension, which I'd like some input on, because since I made this version, I've almost come to the thought that maybe it should be longer than 2 years. But we can talk about that in more detail in a minute. But basically what's in here now is that at the end of that 1 year, it either gets released or they make a request for 2 more years or some other period of time up to 2 years. And we would almost automatically approve that. So that's where it really stands. Other than this one issue, there's just some there's a couple of strange requirements about the role of the commission in as I'm seeing them here, the only what looks like a big change in yellow are actually some definitions which I flagged as not necessarily because the actual words that they're defining are not used in the rule. It's kind of useful background, but to me, if you're going to bother put a definition in the rule, it's because you actually use that word. And I don't think they really refer to this, for instance, original completion versus recompletions. And when I did this back in 2024, I think I double checked and they did not actually appear in the rule. So they're unnecessary. It's not that they're bad or anything. So that was those are the only real changes from the IOGCC version, was that elimination of unneeded definitions and the change and elimination of uncharted territory awareness.
I think we've actually had the issue of uncharted territory come up before in previous years. I think that's why that was originally put in there. It's been some time though.
Yeah, I mean, it would be one thing if they use the term exploratory well versus development well. I mean, that at least has a national definition. Yeah, I'm sure the IOGCC and the AAPG and such have definition of an exploratory well, and in many states it has legal definitions. But the whole point was that we could tell whether it would be justified for someone to hold back their results for initially a year. Mm-hmm. And it's not just it can be other things besides being a new well in uncharted territory. It can be a new technology, a completion procedure, a different pool in an established area. There can be things that should be able to be acknowledged as legitimate sources of confidentiality that aren't just the fact that it's in a new area. Which is the way kind of people think of things as a wildcat or an exploratory well. So this just eliminates the issue. Give everybody a year and give everybody the chance at an extension, of course, under approval by the commission. And I guess my inclination now is to actually think about 3 or 4 years instead of 2 years. We've got a lot of small drilling operations, businesses. That everything just seems to be really stretched out. We've got we know sometimes what happens is they have several wells that they want to drill, and they drill a couple of them, and then they actually have to kind of go back to their sources of funds and kind of start a whole cycle again to get things going. in a couple of situations that have come up over the last few years, we definitely tell that the operator is very unhappy with the amount of time that they're able to hold their records confidentiality. So I'd say let's go for 4 years. Then that would be a 5-year period if they so requested, that we would hold the logs and the completion report confidential.
Is there, does the AG, is there any state statutes on confidentiality that may apply here?
This is Taylor Parmenter from the AG's office. I would have to look into that further and get back to you.
I don't remember any applying, but of course that would be. Commissioners, are there any other discussion on this? What do you all want to do? Do you like it? Want to make the changes?
This is Commissioner Nations.
Yes.
I do agree with Commissioner Ballard that it would be good to extend that period to 4 years at least, for particularly due to the difficulties of drilling in Arizona, getting equipment and so on. So I endorse his change.
Okay. Well, do we have a motion to accept this as modified?
This is Whitney Flood. So for all aspects of number 121, these other edits and stuff are okay?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we're
And
voting on, with that one last modification of the 4 years.
for the confidential part E. Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
This is Commissioner Conway. I so move that we adopt this as scrolled out here in this document.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay.
I have a point of order. Conway did not add in his motion about changing the confidential records to 4 years instead of the 2.
Mr. Conway, is that part of your?
Yeah, I apologize. Let's go ahead and do that. Change it from the 2 years
Okay.
to a 4-year period.
Okay. So let's vote again on that. All
Okay.
in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Say nay. Any abstentions? None. The motion carries.
Thank you for that clarification.
Okay. UIC, what other, before we get to UIC or the CO2, any other things that we have missed?
This is Whitney Flood. I don't have any other comments or edits that were submitted on the rules. So if there are other rules that you all want to discuss or comment or somebody else has, that's fine, but I don't have anything else for this agenda topic in regards to rules.
CO2, that's on our agenda, isn't it?
You mean the model legislation?
Yes.
Yes, it is agenda item 3.
Okay, let us talk about that for a little bit. This was unanimously approved as of the version that we sent out in September. No changes were made, and it was unanimously approved by the IOGCC at our meeting I just came back from. I just wanted to let everybody know that. I'd like us to look at this again too, and have a discussion and a further meeting with regard to this and the UIC rules on this as it relates to all the things we're doing, since the state has now gotten primacy in all categories. And with the primacy, the Oil and Gas Commission needs to change a number of rules and potentially some statutes to allow for us to handle the specific categories that relate to us versus DEQ. So we'll need to do that in our next meeting. And I don't mean our next public meeting, but our next meeting, another meeting like this, or a working session where we can finalize these things and move them forward in a rules package. Any thoughts on that? Any questions? Is that a worker for everybody? Didn't hear you, sorry.
I think it's somebody who just needs to be muted. So this is Wendy Flood. This is the one you're referring to,
Yes,
Chairman Thorwall.
that is correct.
So this was included in the documents provided to the commissioners, just to let them know.
Commissioners, do we want to talk about this now and see what things, we've got about 15 minutes to stay in this schedule today. If we want to talk about it, or do we want to see what we want to potentially want to deal with? I would, any thoughts? In that case, let's just look at it, put it on for our next meeting. In the interim, I'll meet with the governor's office and discuss these things along with the UIC, and we can come back. When do we want to schedule our next meeting, working session, to finalize these other rules?
Chairman Thorwall, I would like to offer that maybe we schedule it after you have your meeting with the governor's office, so you can reach out to me when that happens, and then we can try to find a date. Or would you rather just have a date in mind?
Let's just do it. It'd be after the 15th.
Okay. We do
So
have
does
a
that-
regular Arizona Corporation, I'm sorry, Arizona Oil and Gas Conservation Commission meeting on October 10th. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, this will need to be after that.
Okay. I just wanted to
Yeah,
for
it'll
time
have to be after the 15th.
of October. Okay.
Yes. So can we do something still in October?
There is the 24th of October, Friday. If you guys want to keep, I'm sorry, if the commission would like to keep everything on Fridays, there is the 24th and the 31st in October.
How does the 24th look for everybody of October?
This is Commissioner Nations. I do have a commitment that day for the middle of the day.
Would afternoon on that day or earlier morning work for you?
After 1 would work.
Commissioners, would that work for anybody else?
This is Mike Conway. I believe I could make that work.
I can also make that work.
Same here.
Okay, then we will do the Commissioner Firerobbin. Does that work for you?
As best I can tell right now, I got a lot of things that may happen, may not happen, so I'll just try and do the best I can to make it work.
Okay, say we do, you want to do 1:30 or 2 o'clock? Or,
1:30 I'd vote for.
okay. Does that work then? Let's just shoot for 1:30. On the 24th for 2
So
hours.
the next work session meeting will be October 24th, 1:30 for 2 hours.
Yes.
Okay.
Last thing to talk about, statute changes. The statute changes we were talking about previously were the $25. Were there anything else that we needed to talk about? Let's just focus on the $25 for a moment.
That's the permit fee that operators pay, correct? Just to make sure
Mhm.
everyone's on the same page. Okay.
If everybody would be, this is okay with everybody, what I'd like to do is just go through and discuss the statute changes that we think need to be, potentially need to be made, and hold off for a vote till our next meeting. and do the voting on any statute changes at that meeting. That way we can coordinate with DEQ on this. The $25 permit, we were talking about taking that out of statute and putting it into to the commission's hands to be flexible. Does everybody like that idea? I know we've talked about it before.
This is Commissioner Nations. I like that.
Okay. Everybody, the commissioners, do everybody like that as well?
Yes, Commissioner Conway, that seems all right.
This is Commissioner Nations. Did we make a survey of the states and how much they charge? I think we did.
The IOGC did that for us, and that was, it's older now. It was 2018. At that time, it was $400 to $500, but it's gone up a bit since then. So if we were charging in the $500 range, we'd be in the middle somewhere.
Thank you.
Actually, Frank, they updated that in 2024. I guess that's one of their 5-year periods or whatever. And we have a copy of that version, and it is, as you say, I think the average of the cases which aren't extreme is $523. I mean, we have such, Louisiana's $500, Nevada's $1,000, Texas is $500. Where's New Mexico? Can't seem to find New Mexico right off the bat. Yeah, they're in that ballpark around $500, and that's probably what we would anticipate charging.
Okay. What other rules did we need to, statutes did we need to talk about?
Well, the other key element in the legislation as it was proposed last year, of course, was the creation of the fund for the deposit of these monies. We take the $500 and any other miscellaneous fines, and as we discussed a little bit earlier, it's a kind of unknown what necessarily happens to money that comes into the Oil and Gas Commission when it's not put in a fund, which can accumulate and eventually pay for things, hopefully like the occasional plug and abandonment or other kind of necessary well work. So there was a lot. It took a lot of verbiage to just basically address that concept.
Anything else?
This is Commissioner Nations.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Is that the place where we would consider again the raising of the Oil and Gas Commission to a standalone agency? What's the status of that legislation?
There is no status at this moment. All the legislation, there's been no new it did not go through this last session, so everything has to be resubmitted for the next session next year on whatever we're going to do. That's why we're talking about this, and we'll come back to it.
Okay. I'd like to see that discussed again.
What else? Commissioner Ballard, was there anything else that we needed to?
Well, I would think I was able to give a little bit of a summary of this last time. There's a desire on my part when we move forward with some legislation this year that it's not exactly what we submitted last year. It will be the substantive part of the 1444 things mentioned, the permit. I mean the application fees and the fund, even as complicated as it is to set up a fund. It was added to. There were other issues that were added to it that made it a very complicated bill. And my suggestion is we kind of subtract those out and just have a bill that focuses on those issues. And then, of course, if we want to address other issues, then we should use a separate bill.
Okay. Is there anything else that we need to talk about before we adjourn? Hearing none, we've already made a call to the public. I'm going to do it one more time, since we have a few minutes. Is there anybody in the public that would like to address the commission?
This is Wendy Flood. We did get a comment in the beginning when you were bringing up the bonds and the financial insurance. I don't normally know who the comment is from. It just says iPhone Sheila, but just wanted to make sure that the commissioner saw the comment that these higher fees are very encouraging for Arizona residents, especially since Arizona doesn't have an emergency fund. Also appreciate the consideration of bond interest allocation. And I will make sure that those, I wanted to say it on the record because when we are done with the meeting, the chat goes away. So now it's been officially added.
Okay, very fine.
And the chat is turned off, by the way, too. It shouldn't have been on.
Very fine. Thank you all for doing this special session, and I look forward to us all finishing this up. Thank you very much. And this meeting of the Arizona Oil and Gas Conservation Commission's working session is adjourned, and it is 11:50 a.m.
Okay, and we will see everybody on October 10th and then again on October 24th. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
So where is the